Is this fair? You leave me with the pale whiteness of my paper, like an orphan stretching out his hand in the void, waiting for a moment of kindness. Is this fair? I open the door of my broken heart to celebrate the pride of your words, and you, in vain, give me an indifferent look. Pure silence around me now. Where did you get your hardness? I'm like whisper of a silk glove. I fall asleep on a velvet sheet waiting for you. I'm not a word hunter to make traps for you. No dice player to collect the glow of your body from a lost throw. I am a poet. I am born from a wing of a word and drowning deeply in the emptiness of the paper. Nothing can be more cruel than your absence now. A message to my poem, a poem by our guest tonight, Faleeha Hassan, from her recent collection of poems in the book, A Goat in a Tequila Cup. Welcome. My name is Charles Carr, and welcome to Philly Loves Poetry, a collaboration between the Moonstone Art Center of Philadelphia and PhillyCAM. The focus of our program is to give our viewers and our listeners the experience of the rich, rich culture of poetry in the city of Philadelphia and the surrounding area. So tonight we have a wonderful guest, Faleeha Hassan. Faleeha is a poet, a teacher, an editor, writer, and playwright born in Najaf, Iraq, which is close to Babylon. She was born in 1967, and she now lives in the United States. Faleeha was the first woman to write poetry for children in Iraq. Faleeha has received her master's degree in Arabic literature and has now published 26 books. Her poems have been translated to English, Turkmen, Bosnian, Indian, French, Italian, German, Kurdish, Spanish, Korean, Greek, Serbian, Albanian, Pakistani, Romanian, Malayan, Chinese, Odia, Nepali, and Macedonian languages. Faleeha is a Pulitzer Prize nominee in 2018, a Pushcart Prize nominee in 2019, a member of the International Writers and Artists Association. Faleeha has received several awards for her work, including winner of the Woman of Excellence Inspiration Award from the SJ magazine in 2020. She's the winner of the Grand Jury Award, that's the Hito International Award for Literature in 2021, and winner of the Women in the Arts Award in 2023. So welcome, Faleeha. It's really great to meet you and to have you. I wanted to really start off the program, kind of diverting from poetry for a minute to make my own personal statement about what I feel and the sorrow I feel for Iraq and what has happened Iraq following the invasion by our country and the devastating impact that it's had on Iraq. The death of so many people, the destruction of so many treasures of Iraqi culture, and I don't know where things are these days in Iraq. We don't see those reports. It's very hard to tell what is the impact, what is lasting, and is Iraq recovering? So I just wanted to say that to you. You don't have to give me a response to that. I just feel that in my heart. So I wanted to first focus in on that very interesting title for your book, Goat in a Tequila Cup.
Hmm.
And I, when you look at it, you say, wow, where did that title come from? So could you share with our audience how you came upon that title?
Actually, one time I was in the Salvation Army store. It's nearby my house. It's called Family Store. And I was just, looking around, nothing much in my mind to buy.
Uh-huh.
But then I find this small, cute tequila cup, and it has inside it a statue of a goat. And I said, like, it take my attention because I was thinking how long it take from the artist to put this small statue in the tequila cup, and also how he did painting the grass inside the cup. Like as a Muslim woman, I never, and thank God, I never drink alcoholic. I drink just tea, and that's why we don't use this kind of cups.
Right.
But I said I'm going to buy this.
Uh-huh.
But then I bought it. When I have it in my hand, all these silly idea coming to me, you know, and I was then I start talking to myself, and I imagined with someone I I can share my silly idea with him. I will say, okay, I bought this tequila cup for you to drink the if you like to use it, and also I was imagine this guy or this woman. I talked to her about something. You can't talk to anyone else if he's not your close friend. Actually, in my mind, if I have a close friend, I will talk to him about my neighbor when she gets her cat when she lost her cat, or how we can draw picture by imagination. Something you can't talk to anyone else if he's not close to you. And this is the idea. And then after I saw the beautiful picture of this. I take so many pictures of these cubs. When I gather in all these poems, I said I'm going to use it as as a title for my new books, and they accepted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. I
Thank you.
mean, and thank you for explaining that. And so it opens up for me something I found about your poetry in both books. And I want to say Faleeha not only has a goat in a tequila cup, but also a book called A Breakfast
For
for
butterflies.
Butterflies, which is
Yes.
also a wonderful title for me because I'm a butterfly lover.
Yeah.
I think they're such a unique
Actually,
insect.
also after there is a story behind the title. Uh, as a poet, I can eat without by myself.
Uh-huh.
I can't eat anything by myself. I need someone
Uh-huh.
to share the meal with him. And that's why sometime I wait until my kids coming home from school or from work. Even if they are late, I will, share the food with them. But when I was in Iraq, I was a teacher. I spent 24 years teaching Arabic language in high school. But there is a time difference. My kids going to school because they was in primary school in data in morning time. Then I go back to school in afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
My school started at 1 o'clock. And this time when I was by myself, every day I will put a food for doves to come and they eat. Then I will have my breakfast or my lunch to
Uh-huh.
eat, just to watching them. And I imagine they eat with me.
Mm-hmm.
There is a one table to, even I was like using table, they was in the floor, but there's the same same place. Here, when I came here to America, I didn't find the doves to treat them with the, with any food. But in my balcony, there is so many butterflies coming.
Ah,
Yeah, and I said one time, what kind of food I can prepare to butterflies? But then I said maybe I can write a poem for them, and I did write all these poems for the
yes.
butterflies.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book. And once again, kind of building on that, um, what I see in both of the books that I've read is this capacity that you have for making your poems a conversation, whether it's a conversation with a butterfly or the conversations in your most recent book with people that are present, but people who are past.
Yeah.
And the people who are past become present to you in these conversations. And it runs throughout your book that everything is this conversation that you're having with something or somebody. Even as I saw that you have a conversation with war as a phenomenon, and you have a dialogue with war as a phenomenon. And where does that come from? I mean, this sense of the conversations that you start and you build into these wonderful poems.
I think like with my situation, sometimes I can be open to other people's to talk to them about my experience about with wars and laws. I was very close to my father and my mom, but then when they passed away, I have no one to speak to. That's why I start to speak to the subjects. Like I have a poem. It's called Tonight. If you can, like one time you can read it. You will see. I talk to my steps. I talk to my sofa. I talk to to the fan. Everything, even my pillow. And I was thinking if I can, if when I go outside and they can miss me, like because I miss them. And but I think this is coming from because I don't have a real relationship with a good friend. This is make me imagine this friend and talk to him. But sometimes the subject can be, you know, change himself in my mind to became a person, and he gave me a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, and throughout both books, there's this conversation you have with a lover past uh, that makes him almost present, uh, and one is wondering, and the wonder stops because one doesn't have to know where he is, but it's this conversation that you continue to have, and even one where you say, uh, I think I found the quote for it when you talk about uh, reaching, holding out your hand, your warm hand as a welcome to him, and I found that a very moving, a very lovely expression of love and tenderness and almost forgiveness. I mean, obviously, I read in this that you have been betrayed at times by love and lovers, uh, but there's this authenticity in these relationships that you have with these poems. Does that does that emanate from the tradition of Iraqi poetry, or is that just something that's very unique to you?
I don't think Iraqi poets they are right difference between, you know like each one, I think they each one of them they write different, but they all use the same subject, like a war, freedom, and also, but everyone has his style, his own languages, and his own vocabulary too.
Right.
For me, I write the daily poems. Daily poems, it's need to be have some astonishment, have some to be short. It's not very long,
Yeah.
because I want to have this poem stick in the mind of a reader for a long time. It's not just to read it in this moment and it's forgotten.
Yeah.
I need it to stay for a long time,
Yeah.
if that's, you know.
I
But
appreciate that very much. I appreciate people, you know, there are poems, that are 7, 8 part, whatever poems, and there's great ones,
of
right?
course,
I'm
of
not,
course.
but I have a kind of proclivity in my own writing and other people that I tend to gravitate to in poetry that have a real economy, in the use of words, the use of images, and they get to it in a rather short
Yes,
amount of time,
yes,
and it settles in you. I don't know whether it's because I might be called attention deficit. So the longer the poem goes on,
yeah,
I'm feeling the force of it. But the longer the poem is gone, I'm starting to step away from it.
yes.
These short poems, and I don't have a number of lines that I call short,
Yeah, of
but I
course.
see that very much in yours. And some of your poems are very short
Very,
and very compact,
yeah,
and but get to the point very fast.
yeah.
And I really admire that
And
in poetry.
also the reader don't have time to read all these long poems, and sometimes I love to read. Every time I read for hours, but sometimes when I have the poem is very, very long, I lose the subject. I lose the subject. I don't know what he want to do or what he want to say in the subject, because the poem I can't touch that. I can, touch the poem because it's like it's taken away from me, and
Right.
that's also I need to read it more to get it, to know the subject, and what the difference between it and between the title.
Right.
For when you read the short poem, it's focused on the subject. You will surprise in the end, and also you will read it sometimes again to yourself to enjoy it. Because I read poetry, I read the poems twice. Each poems I read it twice. I read it to know what that, to feel it, to understand it, but then I read it to enjoy my time, like enjoy myself with it.
Uh-huh.
With the long poems, I can't do that. Like when I say long poems, I read this poem with like it's 60 pages, but that's long poems. I can,
Yeah.
capture the subject or the from this poem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that. Where and help us understand the tradition of Iraqi poetry that you come from, the influences of Iraqi poetry that you're carrying with you in your work.
I think it's like when I write, I will be myself. I will, like, I use my own vocabulary, my own style. But I never say I represent all the Iraqi poets because everyone has his way to write. And for me, I represent Faleeha Hassan. That's it. No one else. And also, I can say it's a modern. I write a modern poem.
Yeah.
Also, I can write short, long. When I say long, it's not 60 pages, of course. And but with the subject, I write the daily. daily poems. That's something I experience. I can't just use my imagination to create poems.
Yeah.
I hope if I can do that.
Yeah.
I need, like, actually, I need to be in this moment, in this. I need to face this to write about it, but not just imagine myself and start writing about that. Because people, they do that sometimes. And in workshop, they said, okay, we need to write about night, tonight. And everyone has grab his paper and pen, and he start writing. I hope if I can do that. I can't. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Another. Oh, I have so many questions for you, but in the short amount of time that we have, there's a line in one of your poems that you write in one of your poems. I keep jogging from exile to exile.
Yeah.
And do you feel, I guess you always feel that you're a poet in exile. You're an artist in exile.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that? And I mean, you want to maintain your identity as an Iraqi, as an Arabic woman, you're Iraqi. How do you maintain that, even though you're in exile, to keep alive, and with your children, that sense of where you came from.
Yeah. Actually, as when you be a refugee or immigrant, you never feel, and you escape your country. You never feel you are in home, even you if you have a house, you have a roof. But because you left all these tradition, culture, your life, the past life, and you came. You can't do that. You just leave them and came a new person, because we establish our life, our soul from these remain. We still have these remain with us. We carry it, and but I try to keep it to myself by dressing the same when I was there in Iraq. I never changed my dress to be American, and also uh, by when I communicate with other people, they see me as a Faleeha Hassan, the woman she was in Iraq. And in my home, my house, or my apartment, we live as a Iraqi people, me and my two kids. Actually, even I cook for them twice a day, Iraqi meals, and we spoke Arabic language inside. Of course, it doesn't show we build this wall.
Right,
No, we like to be with other peoples, but we don't like to melt
right,
inside. We
right.
still our soul, it's still Iraqi,
Yeah,
and we, like, for me, I like if people accept me like this. If they don't accept me, because I accept them. I know I accept the language, I accept the tradition, I accept the culture, but that's meaning I don't want to be a copy of them. I want to be myself, and this is what you know. I keep doing it.
yeah. Where you live, do you find, support with other Iraqis, refugees, or people from Iraq that are living, in your community?
In 2012, when I came to, from Turkish to America, they said, the Catholic Charity said, we're going to put you in a place there is a bunch of Iraqi people there. And then when I wake up in the morning, I saw just two people there. I mean, two families. And now they are gone. Everyone has his place. And they left in New Jersey.
Uh,
Yeah, now I can say it's like me, just me, my family in this in this area. I live there, and I don't think there is a community support for artists or poet. I have a friend; she's a poet too, but she's busy with her life, and like we don't have this. Yeah, I go to library. I think library, the public library, it's a good. They have good events. Sometime I go there when I have something I like, but other than that, nothing else.
Do you feel an acceptance in your community? Do you feel safe in your community?
Safe is a big word. I can't say safe,
Right.
but yeah, people accept me because I accept them. I am. I can say I am friendly with them. Every time when I go outside, I will say hi, hi, but that's meaning there is no real communication between us. I was living here for since 2012, but I don't think I know the names of my neighbors, and my neighbors know my name. Yeah, and yeah, the way they said hi, I say hi.
So
That's
hello,
it.
hello.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's no real communication between us.
Do you have an outlet to
But
read poetry
I have a friend, like outside our
community?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they live.
Do you have outlets to read your poems in where you live or in the surrounding area?
No, I don't think that,
Okay.
but when I like every time I publish books, I will call Margaret E. Hegel Library, the public library, and they are very fantastic people.
Okay.
They ask me to come and they do book signing for me, and that's a good support. And this is the first support. I mean, the only support I
Right.
yeah.
Well, Moonstone wants to embrace you. So, really. And so, welcome to our family
Thank
of
you so much.
Moonstone.
Thank you.
And, after the show, we can talk about
Yes.
further how we can make, some of those connections,
Thank you so much.
for you, with you, to this community. Because Moonstone is a wonderful, wonderful community
Yeah.
of poets and artists and of all of
Yeah.
all states and of uh, all cultures, really. And I think it will really be fascinating. So I'm really happy that
Thank you.
on my show,
Thank you.
or not my show, on Philly Loves Poetry, which is a Moonstone event,
Yeah.
that I've been able to host you.
Thank you so
I think
much.
it's a real,
Appreciate it.
it's a wonderful thing, and I've enjoyed so much
Thank you.
reading your book, both books, and both books twice. I'm like you. I read poems twice, sometimes
Twice.
more than twice.
Yeah.
So, so we're coming up, on a time where I want to give you the floor, so
Thank
you
you.
can read your poems. You can talk about your poems, and essentially the show is yours
Thank you.
as we go forward. And I enjoyed our conversation, and
I was hoping if I can read something from my
well,
new books, but I didn't receive it yet.
uh-huh,
I mean, I'm talking about goat and
right.
tequila cup, but I bring breakfast for butterflies,
Do you
and
want? I copied you, downloaded your. If you
yeah,
wanted
but
to,
this
okay, fine. You
is
know what you want to read,
yeah.
but if you wanted to, I do have your manuscript here. So,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
so the
Thank you.
floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going to read my father's feet. My father's feet. When I was a kid, I saw them running and running after the bus that took him to his job every morning and returned him to us late every day, carrying so much love in his heart and bags of food for our souls and our mouths, starving forever, running after our school books, which we were covering up with our prayers to protect us from the sticks of our principal and teachers, running after my mother, whose days all finished in different hospitals. And when I grow up a little bit, I saw them still running, but in military boots, from for days never ending, covered with dust from Khurmashahar and Dizaful. And when he stretched out his feet on the floor, we all ran to them with joy, and like a big pillow filled with dreams, we slept on them. My dangerous memory. Oh, great. Whenever I dream of birds, the cages fly above of my head, and I will need all my lifetime to know which cage belongs to my dream. And then, whenever I try to remember my childhood, a bomb falls from my memory and crashes into my reality. What a lovely sunny morning, I told the girl. She was jogging in the forest. She smiled at me and said, "A soldier helmet is filling from your memory again." "Don't worry, I have so many of them," I told her. "Everything will be okay." I see, I say to myself, and I keep jogging from exile to exile as my friends keep running from the battlefields of one war to another to retain as a picture with black frames. Even my husband doesn't know I'm a woman. Every time I speak with him about the river, his mouth waters at the smell of fish. He starts to count the clothespins and watch the weather forecast when I smile to the cloud. But he loves me if I am limited as a booklet, thin as the remains of pencil, amazing as a clean white shirt in coal mine, faithful as the glasses of blind man, and beautiful as a broken wall clock.
Would you give us the title before you read?
Yeah, the last title was Even My Husband Doesn't Know I Am a Woman.
Okay.
In nights of war, my mother forced us to go to sleep before sunset. She told us the siren will take the sleep from your eyes just as the rain will take the houses from their streets. We run toward everything. We eat from fear of running out of food. We drink water without thirst. And like chicks, we crawl under her abaya and sleep without sleeping. At dawn, we run toward the windows and open our eyes wide after we start counting all the destroyed houses around us and thank God for the blessing of sleep. War Museum. Whenever the dictators get bored of their long daytime hours, which they spend sitting on their stinking chairs, they open the door to their war museum, and forces us to enter. We pay with our lives for the ticket. To see the remains of soldiers we played with in our childhood. A picture of my grandmother who, when she saw the oppressor's face, protect our orphan would come soon. A picture of my father's military boot, which he lost on the border of city we thought belonged to us. Maps of cities, there is nothing left but their names melted on the tongues of kids. Women's abaya, chewed up by the threads of tongues. Models who could not find a deserving chest to hang on. Large jars filled with the tears and sorrows of mothers and helmets. Helmets, 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 helmets of unknown soldier. On the door of this museum, a big sign reads, "No exit." I whisper in my room, "Why, my father? Every time I ask you to buy a bicycle, you argue the streets are too narrow. Come here, please. Look at the women from my window. They are riding horses, piloting airplanes, skating, dancing on water, selling boots, and they are laughing, laughing, laughing. But whenever I try to smile, I get slapped by a war. Why, my mother? Whenever I tried to straighten my hair under the sun we planted while it was still dewy. Why, my father? Why, my mother? Whenever I painted a butterfly on the wall, you make it fly. Come here, please. Look at the hearts. They have wings, and they are singing. I'm crying, not because you destroy my heart and throw it like, excuse me, can I change the poem?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's your floor.
Just looking. Sorry about that. Credible lies. Oh, Faleeha, how brilliant is your future? I whisper into my ear and bat my shoulder. Every morning I start my day with a big lie. Faleeha, leave the news to the primos of remoters. Ours being bombed by skilled pilots will be rebate immediately afterward. Leave Iraqi women to sell in Sabaya Bazaar in Mosul. Mothers will give birth to a new daughters 9 months later. Don't worry about the man who sell his life for a handful of coins under the sweltering sun. One day he will get a Chinese umbrella. Don't worry about your niece whose face now eaten by skin cancer. She will get through Photoshop a wonderful picture. Why do you keep looking at the picture of your friends who was missing in Kuwait war? He's lucky. He survived the darkness of grave. Oh, Faleeha, leave the children of Baghdad to wake up to the violent explosion. Music is no longer fit for their mourning. Write down the martyr's name on the piece of paper and place it in your old coat and leave it in a closet or send it to the dry cleaners. I'm tired of counting the names of martyrs. Faleeha, don't plan for the future. It's as close at sniper bullets. Yes, I begin each day with my big, big, big lie, but no lie can cover the really truth. Thank you.
We still have a lot of time, so you can keep on reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two soldiers. Let's celebrate. Let us run to that hill. Let us climb up the remains of tongues and sing. Let us drink tea under this burnt tree and smoke our last cigarette. It's not every day that the war can make dead bodies, and we are not with them. Scarf. Don't be scared of me. I'm not an alien. Come from the space hiding its horrible sensor under the hood. I'm not here to attack you. No, don't be scared. I'm not a female spider that hides inside her web trying to warp your body with my silken thread. I'm not a barbaric woman, just dance on the drums of death. I'm a woman like you, smile like you, walk off my feet like you, cry, laugh, dream, and sing just like you. The difference between us that I lost so many in the war. It's scarf, my scarf. See it, touch it, feel it. Do not let it cover your mind from seeing the real truth. Tonight, when I entered my apartment, the stairs were lying like tired men after hard day's work. The door was a yawning mouth. My TV was listening entirely to sport newscast, and like huge fat women, the couch was sitting on the floor, hardly breathing the used air. The curtain tickled the cheek of the window, swing gracefully above. My books slept like babies in the hands of the bookshelves. The dining table was listening to the whisper of the hair chairs. The lamps were winking to each others. The fan was busy flying her arms indifferently. In my apartment, life looks the same as I left. Everything is normal. No, it's beyond normal. Strange. No one missed me.
So we have about another 12 minutes to go. You want to keep on reading.
There is another things we can do, like because I did read all the poem. I was.
Well, you have a lot of poems here, so you read as much as you want.
You said you have the
Oh, sure.
manuscript.
Yeah. Here is your
Thank you.
manuscript.
When I drink tea in New Jersey, like a girl who writes poetry about a boy she has never seen, my day sits with all this disappointment, counting her fleeting moments. I remember my mother using the smell of onions to shed her tears in the kitchen for the absence of my father, who climbed his life war by war. Whenever he wore his military belt, he wished that war was just an old shoe. He could take it off whenever he liked. And he didn't need to think of fixing it at the cobbler's shop. I remember my brother, who asked in his letters, when will the war understanding that we are not good at dealing with death? I remember us 40 years ago. We were kids, very much kids, with colorful clothes and hearts. It was enough for us to see a balloon, to drown in a big laughter. I remember all this now when I drink my tea and practice my loneliness. After 40 years of snow, do you remember the watch you gave to me, warped in a poem? It is still bound to my soul's meaning. The more time passes, the more the letters jump into my heart. My heart is now pumping flotation. How many times I have wished that if my city were not surrounded by graves, then, like a little girl, I would wait for you in a secret garden. Come on, take off this thick absinthe, as thick as a New Jersey coat in the winter time. Melt off the snow that has stuck on the lines in your message. Mow the grass that has grown in your tongue. Don't save sea of tears for me. I'm not mermaid. Make yourself present with words. Woo me. Let me stop demanding my rights and thrilled by the touch of your fingers as they play with my hair. Let me fool myself again and see you as a center of my universe.
I wanted to ask you about one poem,
Yes,
very interesting. The poem is titled Writer's Block
yes.
in your most recent collection. And you talk about in that poem the contraction, and you use the word repeats the word like three times. And you almost say your imagination is lost in all things that shut down. And I wasn't quite sure about the meaning of that. And can you talk about that as a process when you talk about the contraction in the imagination in a poem? I talk about writer's block.
Yeah. Actually, you are a poet and you feel when there is a poem come to you. And I was having this feeling for 2 nights. And I couldn't sleep. I was up for 2 nights, just waiting for this poem to come, to show herself to me. Then I can write it down. And I was like doing all kind of strange things, like listen to music or walking around, you know, and or lay down or do something. It's like just to ask her to come, but she, I call my poems she never show up herself. She's like, she ignore me. And then like after 2 nights, I replaced, I like my imagination replaced her with this poem. And I wrote like, it's blocked, there's nothing. uh, when I did write this poem, it's not the same one I was waiting for, and I still waiting for my perfect poem to come. But you can't just ask her to come because she's very, very tough. The poem, she can't control you, but you can control her. If she wants to come, she will come. If she says if she's refused, she will refuse. Even if you gave her something, it's not. You can make it trap for her, but you can ask her to come in gentle. But if she refused, that's and this is what happened to my real poem I was waiting for. And also that's gave me another chance to write a poem. It's called Message to My Poem. And I in this poem, I was like an orphan person, just asking, please just come, but she's avoid me. She's never come.
Yeah, we as poets start out sometimes in a certain place.
Yeah,
And as we imagine things, we end up in an entirely different
different,
place.
different place.
And uh, sometimes it's hard to explain, how did you get there? When you say you started here, how did you end up? I'm not talking to you, but the poet, how did you end up there? And a lot of times we cannot explain it.
Yeah,
Like you say, it's like a force or like something outside of us that comes in. Sometimes I think of a poem by Rumi when he talks about the guest house and like um, ideas and imagination and spirits coming to live in this guest house that we
yes,
all in a way have. And it's how we treat
yeah,
this guest that is coming into our house, into our mind, into our imagination. And maybe we should, in all cases, think of that, that this poem has come to us as a guest and that we should treat it like a guest with,
and you need to be ready for that
yeah,
also.
exactly. You need
Yeah,
to be ready for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you can't just have a guest if you don't have a clean house. That's why, like for me, I need to clean my mind from all these bad thoughts.
Uh-huh.
Just take it, but yeah, or sit by myself just to welcome it,
Yeah.
welcome the poem.
There's a lot of noise, you know. There's a lot of noise we have to work through.
Yes,
And, in this country, I only can speak for myself. There's a lot of noise you have to work through. And not in a way to pick up on the vocabulary of that noise, but really remain true to yourself. I mean, everything that is happening politically, everything that's going on in the world, everything that's happening to the environment. I mean, there are all these forces, and uh, you know, like now, for myself, it's about autumn. Write a poem about autumn, but it's. I mean, last year I did write a poem. It was called a elegy for autumn, right? But it's a different phenomenon right now with everything that happened. I call right now the season of lies.
maybe you can write poems to heal yourself from all these noise.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you can.
yeah.
Yeah, you can
I think
use it.
partially that is, but somehow you have to grapple with it, and I think poetry is an avenue in which you do grapple with it. And you can consider it a gift that you
Yeah,
can,
of course.
you can grab. I mean, people grapple with this through music, through theater, poetry, through, writing novels, etc.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that we have to wade through these days,
Yes.
at least for me. And but well, so you have to honor the vocabulary and the language that is prevalent, today. And how do you capture that language in a way that people understand it? You say
Yeah.
you're really speaking to me, and that resonates. That resonates with me. I wanted to ask you also about kind of leaving. We're coming close to the end. About influences of American or English language poets on your work, and how how you have incorporated some of that in the development of your voice.
Actually, I can say like I haven't like influenced by any poets or any poetic style also, but I enjoy reading T.S. Eliot.
Uh-huh.
I enjoy reading Kafka. I enjoy reading Maya Angelou, Walt Whitman. All these poets, everyone has his style, but I like to read them, but not to be another, another copy of them. Everyone has his Hughes, for example, has his different style, different vocabulary, but but that's meaning should I be like him? No, of course. I enjoy reading it. I sometimes I use it as a as a quote when I write something else, not not poetry, but I hope like I will stay in my voice and my style and my you know
Well, I think
writing.
you have. I mean, you
Yeah,
do have your own voice and your own unique style. But I think that the group that you mentioned
yeah,
is a pretty good group to be reading.
yes.
So if that's part of, what you
T.S.
use.
Eliot, I read his work in Arabic language when I
Okay.
was like a teenage. But then when I started reading and writing in English, all his work, I have his book right now,
Right.
like in my home. I started reading in English, and this is something else. Like, when
Yeah.
you see the difference
Yeah.
between the translation,
Yeah.
because I heard someone said translation is the other side of the rug.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's something different.
Well, I want to wrap up. I want to thank you
Oh,
very
thank you.
much for being our guest on
Thank
Philly
you
Loves
so much
Poetry,
for having
and
me.
and that our Philadelphia audience knows more about Faleeha Hassan
Thank you
tonight.
so much.
I wouldn't be remiss in welcoming you to the Moonstone Arts family,
Thank you.
and to say to our audience, as always, this is just another case of what Moonstone does on a continuing basis in this city, of bringing poets like Faleeha to you. There's usually a poetry reading every single week in the city of Philadelphia, sponsored by Moonstone. And so I ask you, as I always do, we have a website, moonstoneartscenter.com, where you can go on. You can find out ways you can continue to support whatever we're doing. We not only have these shows, we do publishing. So that's something you should consider.
Wow,
So
wonderful.
once again, I appreciate it. And of course, the fantastic job that our Philly camp crew does, as always, Sergio, makes this all really happen so perfectly. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Faleeha, again.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for, you know, this is beautiful introduction you said about me
Okay.
too.
All right.